Now, we have a really exciting live satellite link up to New York if it works. One of the biggest snowstorms of the year has just hit New York, so like my office in New York, for example, is closed, so we're hoping this is going to work. But we're delighted to be able to link up, in theory, live to Wyclef Jean. He's Haitian-American. I'm sure all of you will know him as one of the founder members of the Fugees. He then embarked on a very successful solo career, but perhaps more importantly for what we're going to talk about now and for the world we're living in today, actually back in 2005 he created an organization called Haiti, which was all about basically improving the standard of living and improving education, sports, arts, the environment, and community service. And since the devastating earthquake, he's actually been one of the most active people in the world. Bienvenue, c'est super que tu es là pour nous. Vraiment, c'est super. We actually lost contact with James for a couple of weeks, and then we were not only delighted when we were able to get back in contact with him, but actually to be able to get him here to join us at One Young World. So Wyclef is going to address us for about 10 minutes, and then we're going to there are 6 of you who have submitted questions already, so unfortunately we can't take any questions that haven't been submitted because of the constraints of the satellite link-up, but 6 of you will then pose Wyclef some questions. So hopefully Wyclef is here.
Hi. Can y'all see me? Okay, cool. It's a strong snowstorm out here. But we managed to make it to New York City. So I don't know what happened to your office, but I could check on that for you. Okay. First of all, I want to acknowledge James, straight out of Haiti. He's in the house, you know. James is an example of what the future of Haiti looks like. The 21st century Haiti is James. And there's a few things that we have to understand. For James to be real effective, what we have to do is we have to hold ourselves, the new generation of Haitians, responsible. Not just the Haitians that are living in Haiti, but the Haitians that are living abroad. For example, the Haitian government budget per year, a rough estimation, is probably 1.6 billion, which doesn't even cover, you know, a university budget. Now take the diaspora which lives outside of Haiti. The diaspora sends to Haiti per year through money transfer, probably 2.5 billion per year. Then there's a sum of money which comes in through different NGOs that have been in Haiti for over, I guess NGOs have been in Haiti ever since I was in Haiti, before I was in Haiti. I remember being in a village. I'm from a small village in Haiti. The village is called Quadebouquer. The village is called Lacer in Quadebouquer. And I remember every morning, I would wake up to go to school, and I would take a donkey to school. Yes, Wyclef used to take a donkey to school. And I could still hear the sound of the donkey going cluck, 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 cluck. I got a chance to go back to that village, actually, when I got older to ride the donkey. And they said the old donkey was dead, but they put me on a new donkey, you know. But my point to the story is that NGOs would come into the village and they would bring us rice. But in my mind, I was like, if they bought me the seed, the fertilizer, and the machinery to operate, then I wouldn't have to depend on that rice. For Haiti to move forward, there are a few things that we must apply going into the 21st century. One is technology. And how is it going to start with the technology? It basically starts with fiber optics for the whole island. The second thing, which is very important, is Haiti was rich when it came to agriculture and trade. Haiti was excellent in import, export. So we went from one of the richest, perhaps the richest in the Western Hemisphere, to now the poorest. But now there's a chance to start all over again. So as a 21st century Haitian, I look up to a Toussaint Louverture, Jean-Jacques Dessalines, so we had what was called the Marshall Plan, right? Meaning the world. Haiti needs the Toussaint Louverture Marshall Plan. As I'm speaking to you tonight, this afternoon, there are still people under the rubble in my country. I went to Haiti after the earthquake, feeling so helpless that I started picking up dead bodies from the ground and bringing them to the cemetery. The saddest thing I saw when I got to the cemetery was that they were negotiating holes to put kids in because there was not enough holes in the cemetery to put bodies. So the urgency of aid is something that we needed yesterday. So I ask the donors that are giving, please don't have fatigue, because this is going to take a lifetime. But as we move forward, I want to thank the world for the outpouring support for Haiti. Quincy Jones has called me, and we recorded the 25th year anniversary of We Are the World, where all proceeds will be going to Haiti with 84 different artists. So what we will do is, I have devoted my entire existence to my country and will continue. And I want to thank you for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you in Haiti. Not just for the cleanup aspect and that we're going to get the country better, but there are two sides to the country. Amongst the poor that you see, we have some of the richest beaches. So I'll see you in the 21st century, Haiti, which will be as bright as my Adidas jacket. Thank you.
Thank you, Wyclef. On behalf of everyone here, you're doing an amazing job, and we have huge respect for you. Now, I think you're okay to take 6 questions. Is that right? Yeah?
Yes, I am.
Excellent. So, James, I think, do you have the first question? If you want to go to the microphone. Yeah, that should work.
Sak pase Wyclef. First, want to thank everybody.
Sak pase na boule.
Na voulez. First, want to thank everybody for your words of support. Your one to Haiti since the beginning of this summit. Thank you very much. Wyclef, I have a question for you. I'm proud of you because your sons a role model for Haitians. How will you ensure how the promised aid made to Haiti will actually be delivered? Thank you very much.
Which is a great question. The question is basically all of the aid, all of the money which is promised to Haiti, how can we secure that that money will actually get to the aid of the people? I think that that's a great question. The first thing is, I would say to the last speaker, if I learned anything, is that basically we have to put all of the NGOs, we have to put the government basically naked. Because when you naked, you have to show that you buff. meaning that we cannot and we will no longer support corruption in Haiti. Every money that is coming, which is supposed to get to the Haitian people, we have to hold the NGOs, starting with myself as an NGO, all of the NGOs and the government accountable for everything.
Yeah. Okay, now there are 5 other people who have questions. If you could go to the microphone up here. And I think we have Antonio up first.
Brother Wyclef, I think it's both commendable and inspirational the fact that you keep it real and don't forget where you came from with your Haitian people. With that said, I operate a Ben & Jerry's ice cream store in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. And as a result of the disaster in Haiti, we coordinated several benefit nights to raise awareness and proceeds to send back to Haiti. However, without a platform such as yours, we were only able to raise a couple $100s to send to Haiti. And I'm just curious what you think young leaders like us could do kind of to leverage what we have to make a bigger impact.
First of all, I gotta say, man, I like your accent, man. It's a real cool accent. I could tell you from the South, man.
All right. I'm repping North Carolina.
All right. Well, I think that we have started doing, when you say what could the leaders do, I think the first thing is we have to form an alliance, which you have started doing, which is a worldwide alliance. And what I want to do is tap into that alliance so that if we are raising millions of dollars, you know, similar to what President Obama said, I don't think that I have all of the ideas. I think that if you bring me ideas, what we can do is make sure that the money is used for the right projects. So what I need from the new generation is I need your mind so that you can tell me exactly what you're thinking when this money comes in. What are the projects that you're thinking as far as moving Haiti to the 21st century? So beyond raising hundreds, because there's people that could raise billions of dollars, but unless that we have the minds that are in that room right there, there is nothing we could do with that money.
Thanks, Antonio. Ellie rocks. Great surname.
Thank you. Hi, Wyclef. I think I speak on behalf of everyone in saying you're an inspiration to all of us. My question is, how do you think that young people, like the delegates here today, can harness the power of music and the music industry to tackle the global issues that we have been discussing?
First of all, I want to say your name is an incredible name. I might have to put it in one of my songs. And to your point, I think what's going on now is musicians are finally realizing that we can't just sing the songs no more. Meaning, like, we can sing about change, but unless we physically put ourselves in the position to start acting on change, it will not happen. So what I do is I hold every musician accountable. My motto is called face à face. That means face to face. If you are gonna pick up a guitar and you are gonna sing about Africa and you are telling the people that change must come in Africa, I will no longer be convinced anymore unless I see you on the ground in Africa helping the people. I think this is the kind of change that we as musicians have to make. We have to transform from music to physically doing now.
Hubert?
Thank you.
Yeah, I was having my Starbucks.
No worries. We've all heard all the figures and numbers about the money raised for Haiti, which is great. But how will this money be used on the field, and how will it balance the short-term aid and the long-term development of the country?
Well, the money that we are raising, one of the things that is important to me right now is the amount of orphans that are still on the streets. And the fact that senior citizens are helpless. So the people that are most helpless to me right now are the orphans and the senior citizens. So what we're doing, the first thing we're doing is we're coming up with a sustainable community which goes from tent city communities which transform into homes. Right now, we're in the process of identifying a piece of land. The land that I'm asking the government for has to be land which the soil has to be right. It has to be land that already provides natural well water. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna build a model city which can go from being an orphan to a senior citizen's home to 21st century homes, which becomes developmental. The way that will happen and become sustainable is this is why I'm asking that they give us the right soil, because what we want to do is add the agriculture component within that city and start a proper school within that city. And it's important that that city has well water, which we could come in and purify and make it sustainable. So with the money that we are raising, this is the first big project that I can see us doing right now.
Excellent. Thank you. Simon Fowle, I think Simon's up next.
Hi, Wyclef. I'm Simon. Nice to speak with you. My question is, what is the best way for young people, perhaps, who don't have a lot of money or resources to help others in need when, like, what are the gateways available for young people?
Well, you have to understand, like, young people have something beyond money. I'm gonna give you an example. When I was in school, I was a dreamer. My brother, he got straight A's. And me, I got straight D's. Now, the reason that I got D's was not because I wasn't smarter than my brother, even though he would disagree. It's because I lived inside my head and my imagination always felt like it was reality. So I feel that this generation, your generation, is the generation of the new ideas. And what I need from you is, how do I tap into your global network? And how do you look into what I'm doing with Yele Haiti and says, okay, Wyclef, you know, we as a committee of thinkers, you know, we don't have money, but we feel if you apply this technology, what it will do is help the country go to the 21st century. So as I said before, I don't need your money as young people. What I need is, I need your brain. If I was an alien right now, what I would do is I would put my hands out and try to get as much information as I can from y'all. So let me try to do that. Google Gaga, Google Gaga, Google Gaga, Google Gaga.
Thank you very much.
And one final question from Monica McGee.
Hi, thanks for all your advice. The last question is, what is one thing you know now that you didn't know at age 23? And how does knowing that now impact your life, and would it have helped to know back then?
Well, I mean, I'm only 24.
You should be here.
When I was 23, and I was a member of the Fugees, and the Fugees was short for refugees, because I felt that we can take a word, which people think it's the worst word, and we would take that word and we would create a musical revolution of a movement. And at 23 years old, I felt that that would be enough. I felt if I could be the biggest selling, one of the biggest hip hop ever selling groups of all times, I felt if I sold millions of CDs, I felt if at the Grammys I wore my Haitian flag, you know, I felt if in my videos, you know, I rocked my Haitian bandanas, I really felt like the world would pay attention to Haiti through the music. What I've learned now, as I've grown from a boy to a sexy man, is that beyond the music now, we have to act. So at the age that I'm in right now, I feel that along with the music, I have to put my physical participation and my mind on the ground if I really want to make a change.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wyclef, on behalf of everybody here, thank you so much for doing that, and thank you, more importantly, for everything you're doing for Haiti.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. So, that was fantastic, amazing. And a big round of applause for James. Hey, James.